Are you ready?
South Central Los Skanless. So what you want to
Down memory lane. Now, you were in a group called Kausion, which consisted of you, Sale, Kato. How did you guys get together, and then how did you guys link your deal with Ice Cube and Lynch Mob Records at that time?
Well, we got our deal. Me and Sale, we went to school together. And, him and Kato was already a group. Kausion was already a group. It was like 6 dudes in the group already. And when I came along, they were in the mix of recording a demo. They got to the last song. And basically, I don't know how I even ended up in the studio. It was just kind of weird. I wasn't even rapping or nothing, you know what I mean? But I got on the last song because... Sale knew I could rap, and he was like, yo, just bust a verse on here. And that ended up being the song that Q picked when he finally got the demo tape. He was like, whoever's on the last song, that's what I want the group to be. So,
you guys had some success with that record, had 2 good singles, and then after that, I started seeing you guys working with the Dog Pound. You guys kind of work with a lot of death row artists. So talk a little bit about that, and how did that happen with you being with West Side Connection and then you guys doing the whole death row thing?
Good question. Shortly after we got with Ice Cube, she started to be our manager. You know what I mean? They had they had a management company called Nightlife Management, Sharitha Knight and Suge Knight. And they managed everybody from DJ Quick to, Tupac to Daz and Corrupt, Rage. I mean, basically they managed all the death row artists, and they only had us and DJ Quick as like side artists. And that shit just kind of put a ripple in everything with Cube because at the time it wasn't no bad blood or anything, but he kind of had his own way that he wanted to do things, and we, ended up in that situation, and he kind of didn't want to deal with that. So that kind of really messed our deal up in our relationship up with Cube, really.
How was it working with the Dog Pound, and how was that experience?
Right. Well, the Dog Pound came about because me and Corrupt, after we went on the All Eyes on Me tour, me and him, before that, we was hella tight, you feel me? We started kicking in hella, just politicking. And then when we went on that tour, things got even, more interesting because we started hanging out together after we came home. And Jackie Chan had a movie that came out called Super Cop. And, we had already been working with these guys. Suge was their manager also, so we had a song laying around. And Sharitha went and politicked to get the song on the Super Cop soundtrack, and the rest is history. The song was called "I'll Do It." You know what I mean?
How honored were you to have Pac pick you? Not to cause any dissension, but he actually had an eye on you and a hand on you, and then you started embarked on your solo career.
Well, I mean, that was just a whole crazy ass ride, man. It was crazy because for one, Pac was like my idol. You know what I mean? And for two, he was the biggest artist in the world, magnified times 10, bigger than Lady Gaga would ever be right now. It was crazy. So, that in a nutshell is enough to drive a sane man crazy. And, I was young, so a lot, I didn't handle a lot of situations responsible, and it took a toll, you feel me? And, it was a good experience, but if I had it to do all over again, I would do a couple things differently with no regrets to today. But I mean, just in the terms of business and just being just firm with the business opposed to just partying more and concentrating on starting my own company, which I did, Blocwize Entertainment. And since then I've dropped about, I would say, 20 projects, including CDs, and now we're doing a feature film called Spanking the Monkey in September, and things are going really well, The movie is about a stoner named Spank from Los Angeles, and his cousin is Belizean. He gets deported, and the cousin, is on the phone trying to get his cousin to send him some iPhones down to Belize, because iPhones is hella expensive down there. And by the way, this is a true story. And the cousin's on the phone with the Spank. He's watching the Animal Planet and watching monkeys mate. And he's, smoking and watching the monkeys mate. He's like, this shit is trippy. And his cousin's on the phone like, man, monkeys are like cats down here. Get back to the phones. So Spank's like, yo, keep the money for the phones and just bring a monkey to me. He's like, I got deported. He said, bring the monkey to Tijuana. I'll meet you in Tijuana. So basically, the monkey is a drug addict on the way down. The cousin, he's chasing this monkey, trying to keep up with him. The monkey's getting drunk, stealing people's cocaine, snorting it. Just a problem-ass monkey that he picked to bring down here for this peaceful trip. You know what I mean? And it kind of clashes with his personality. While Spank, he's partying along the border in all the beach towns, getting drunk. He meets a drug lord who ends up being a midget. Just hella funny. It's a stoner classic, man.
Were you always involved in just doing stuff outside of music as far as expanding your horizons and getting out to the right, movies and TV shows possibly or things of that nature?
When I was in the 8th grade, I won a writing contest. And the writing contest was, I went to West Angeles Christian Academy. My grandma sent me over there. It's right down the street. Right. And the reward was you got to publish a book. So, in the 8th grade, I published a children's book, you know what I mean? And that kind of got me into writing. And, it always comes out in my music, you know what I mean? People always tell me that my music is kind of like painting a picture or a story, or it's really vivid. And that's because, I had early on lessons of, writing correctly and keeping people engaged in what you're talking about. And, it's just little tricks like that. And I guess when you're good at something, you kind of want to keep doing it. But, it ain't cool to be a geek in the hood. Now it is. But back then, they used to punch on you for being the smart kid. And, it just wasn't cool. But as we got older, you see who the cool cats now is and who got the money. Y'all wish y'all to paid attention like I did right now. I'm messing with you. But for real, man, you know what I mean? It's, it ain't. I really got a problem with that. Like, cats got to stop thinking that it's cool to be ignorant and it's cool to be misinformed and picking on cats that's trying to keep, their mind working. Yeah, man. Dispensary is basically me coming out of the shell of just having to do urban gangster rap and having people just think that that's all I'm good at doing. You know what I mean? Over the last couple of projects, I've splashed them a little bit here and there. And now it's just like, I'm totally going in the studio doing exactly what I feel. I'm not under the stipulations of having to turn in an album that's, sounding a certain way or sounding like something that's similar to something that's selling or on the radio. So it's no pressure. I want to work soon with the boy Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? He's killing shit right now. He's from L.A. I got to work with him. You know what I mean? It's he's going to be great. So I got to work with him. I still want to do work with Andre 3000. Want to touch on something with, T.I. I like his mind and what he be talking about, you know what I mean? Coldplay, Gautier. I mean, I do music. Anything that's that's dope, I want to do something with them, you know what I mean? So we'd be here for hours because I'm like really a fan of music, Absolutely, yes. Because right now, we're in the midst of re-releasing the album with 4 new tracks on it. You know what I mean? Commentary from myself, Kato, and Sel. And just celebrating what we did, you know what I mean? And hopefully that's going to spark a new project. And that's why I'm going to Kato's studio tonight, you know what I mean? To handle that.
Where can they find you on Twitter, Facebook, so forth?
Well, I mean, the Dispensary Project, of course, is on iTunes. All my projects are on iTunes. You know what I mean? You can go pick up. I have like over 380 songs on iTunes, so just go to iTunes/Gonzoe. And if you're confused on the spelling, it's Gonzoe. You know what I mean? And you catch me on Twitter, Twitter/I'm Gonzoe. IMGONZOE. So just hit me on Twitter. I never check my Facebook. I answer my Twitter. I'll hit you right back on Twitter. Real shit.
We'll take the wackest song and make it better.